If you're here, chances are you are dealing with a lot of anxiety, maybe even panic attacks, and it's an overwhelming situation because we feel powerless about it and we don't know how to deal with it. And most of the advice on internet focuses mostly on how to deal with the intensity of the physical symptoms and really on how to take care of these symptoms. So taking care of the vagus nerve and breath work and so on. But I think it misses the point, what to actually do to solve the anxiety and why it's there. Anxiety is a secondary emotion, which means it's an emotion paired with some beliefs, some thoughts, some cognitive response to it. And this is what makes it worse, because when we are anxious, we get anxious about the anxiety in itself, because it's like, oh no, it's here, I don't know how to deal with it. So basically, when anxiety comes, it is always pointing at a sense of powerlessness. When we are anxious, what we feel is actually powerlessness. And even calling this state anxiety, it makes it difficult to work with, because it gives it a vibe of something abstract that we can touch. Instead, if we call it powerlessness and we identify the root cause, we can actually solve it. How to heal your anxiety? First of all, you need to get curious on why it's there. This is the first thing. Like, be aware if you have the resistance to work with it. I want to get rid of this state, I don't like it, I don't want to be here. Of course, it's a very uncomfortable situation, but it's there for a reason, right? And if you understand it, then you can feel already a sense of empowerment, which neutralizes a bit of the powerlessness. Second thing to do, isolate the fear, because when you feel powerless, it's because you are scared of an outcome and you are projecting that fear in the future, and you start overthinking and making a scenario up in your head on how things will go in the worst way possible. And this is a loop that reinforces the thought and triggers the emotion and so on, and it gets really overwhelming to the point that you feel stuck and you feel overpowered by this anxiety. Instead, when you just sit with it, breathe into it, and instead of trying to avoid this state, just try to walk towards it. And I know it sounds counterintuitive, but this is how you solve it. Trust me on this. You just sit and you talk to the part of you that is expressing fear. And you just ask, what are you afraid of? Which part of me is having fear and why? What is in my life that needs some change? What is that is creating some misalignment that I can't deal with anymore? Because most of the time, your anxiety comes to tell you that something in your life needs to change, and then a part of you is really tired of it, and it's just stressed out. Anxiety is fear, and fear is stress. It's the stress response of your body, because it feels constantly in danger. You talk to the emotion, you talk to this fear, and from there you will have your answer. Don't process it through your mind. Observe, don't judge, and just trust your body to give you the answer. Don't try to chase it with your ego, because it won't be as authentic, it won't be the truth. So if you really want the truth and to understand why you feel constant anxiety, just sit and ask. When you get your data on what is the root cause that is giving you all this anxiety, just think on how you can solve the problem. If it's really unsolvable, you can ask for support. And if nobody seems to have an answer, you just trust the universe, God, find the faith in you, and you just do what you can. Try to flip the situation. If I feel powerless in this situation, how am I in charge instead? How am I empowered? What can I still do? And you will find actually a long list of things you could do to solve the problem. The things that you have no control over, you just learn to let it go and then trust, as I say, the God, the universe, whatever. Anxiety gets fueled by your need of staying in control in a situation where you feel completely powerless. So therefore, of course, you get stuck in this freeze modality because you can't do anything. But this is just a projection of your mind. This is just a fear. So if you go towards it, you will actually find one or many ways on how to solve the problem and change something in your life. Every time you get a panic attack or some anxiety, instead of going in overthinking and getting more stressed about it and more anxious, break the loop, sit, talk to your anxiety as it is a friend. Use the feminine approach first, listen to it, validate it, welcome it, accept it, and then offer your masculine support solution. And I promise, if you do this and you go deep enough, your anxiety will just fade away in no time. If you would like me to get more into details about this topic, or if you're interested in me talking about any other topic, feel free to write it in the comment. And thanks for watching.